Summer is here, and everything you need for adventure is waiting at ShockShop.us. Gear up with camping essentials, stylish bathing suits for fun in the sun, reliable generators for every outdoor trip, kayaks, dinghies, and water toys for non-stop excitement. From backyard fun to lakeside escapes, ShackShop.us has it all. Shop the summer sale now and save big at ShackShop.us.
Carlos Mencia faces tax evasion. Charges as prosecutors allege millions in unreported income. The entertainment industry was shaken by surprising legal developments this week after veteran comedian Carlos Mencia was arrested and charged in Los Angeles County on multiple felony tax-related counts. Prosecutors allege that the performer failed to report and pay taxes on millions of dollars in income earned over several years. Accusations that could carry serious financial and legal consequences if proven in court. The charges mark a dramatic new chapter for a comedian whose career has included sold-out comedy tours, television success, controversy, and years of public scrutiny. While Mencia has remained a recognizable figure in stand-up comedy, prosecutors now claim that his financial dealings have placed him at the center of one of California's most significant recent tax enforcement cases. Authorities announced the charges during a press conference in Los Angeles, where District Attorney Nathan Hochman outlined allegations involving both personal and business tax filings. According to prosecutors, the case centers on earnings exceeding $8 million that allegedly went unreported to state tax authorities. Mencia, who is 58 years old, was taken into custody at his residence in Los Angeles during the early morning hours. Officials said the arrest occurred shortly after dawn as investigators executed an operation connected to the tax investigation. The comedian has not entered a plea regarding the allegations. As of the announcement of the charges, defense attorneys representing Mencia had not publicly commented in detail on the accusations. Details of the charges' court filings allege that Mencia failed to file required tax returns and failed to pay taxes owed on substantial income earned between 2019 and 2024. Prosecutors filed a total of 12 felony counts. According to officials, 6 of those counts involve personal income tax filings, while 6 additional counts involve corporate tax obligations. Each count corresponds to a specific tax year included in the investigation. The district attorney's office alleges that the comedian earned approximately $8.7 million during the period in question and failed to satisfy tax obligations connected to those earnings. Prosecutors estimate that unpaid state taxes exceed $300,000, though additional penalties, interest, and fees could substantially increase that figure if the allegations are ultimately upheld. Legal experts note that tax cases often involve extensive financial records, audits, banking information, contracts, and income documentation. Such investigations can take years to develop before criminal charges are filed. Because tax crimes generally require prosecutors to demonstrate intent, investigators typically seek evidence showing that an individual knowingly failed to comply with filing requirements rather than simply making an error or oversight. Whether prosecutors can successfully prove such intent remains a question that will likely be central to future court proceedings. Arrest at Los Angeles home authorities reported that Mencia was arrested at his residence shortly after 7 a.m. Thursday. Law enforcement officials stated that he was transported into custody without major incident. Bail was reportedly set at $250,000. Following the arrest, Mencia remained in custody, pending an initial court appearance expected early the following week. If convicted on all counts, prosecutors say the comedian could face a sentence exceeding 11 years in prison. In addition to potential incarceration, a conviction could require repayment of taxes, penalties, and accrued interest. Legal analysts caution that maximum sentences are rarely imposed automatically. Sentencing outcomes depend on numerous factors, including criminal history, plea agreements, cooperation with authorities, and judicial discretion. At this stage, the charges remain allegations, and Mencia is presumed innocent unless proven guilty in court. A new focus on business tax enforcement. The case also highlights a broader initiative launched by Los Angeles County prosecutors. District Attorney Nathan Hochman stated that the charges represent the first major prosecution brought by the office's newly created Business Tax Fraud Unit. The specialized division was established to focus on individuals and businesses suspected of intentionally avoiding tax obligations. According to officials, the unit was formed in response to concerns about significant tax revenue losses that can affect funding for public programs and government services. During the announcement, prosecutors characterized the investigation as an example of what they described as deliberate noncompliance with tax laws. Officials further alleged that state agencies sent numerous notices concerning unpaid tax obligations over multiple years. Prosecutors claim those notices did not result in corrective action. The allegations regarding repeated notifications may become an important component of the government's argument, because they could be used to establish awareness of filing obligations. Defense attorneys may challenge those claims, dispute the interpretation of financial records, or argue that circumstances surrounding the filings were more complicated than prosecutors suggest. The outcome will likely depend heavily on documentary evidence presented during future proceedings. From Honduras to Hollywood. Long before the current legal controversy, Carlos Mencia built a remarkable career story. Born Ned Arnel Holness in Honduras, he moved to the United States as a child and was raised in East Los Angeles. Growing up in Southern California exposed him to a diverse cultural environment that would later influence much of his comedy. His material frequently explored themes involving ethnicity, immigration, social class, family dynamics, and everyday life in Latino communities. Mencia began performing stand-up comedy during the late 1980s, working his way through local clubs and developing a distinctive stage presence. Like many comedians, his early years involved performing for small audiences, traveling extensively, and competing for limited opportunities within the comedy circuit. Persistence eventually paid off. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, Mencia had become one of the most recognizable comedians in the country. His performances attracted large audiences, and his popularity expanded through television appearances and national tours. Many fans appreciated his energetic delivery and willingness to address controversial social topics. His growing success transformed him from a regional comedy performer into a nationally recognized entertainment figure. Rise of Mind of Mencia. Perhaps the most visible period of Mencia's career arrived when Comedy Central launched Mind of Mencia. The series combined stand-up comedy with sketches and social commentary. It quickly became one of the network's most discussed programs. The show aired from 2005 through 2008 and helped elevate Mencia's profile even further. At the height of its popularity, the comedian was a frequent guest on television programs and a regular presence in entertainment media. The program's success translated into lucrative touring opportunities, endorsement possibilities, and increased visibility throughout the entertainment industry. For many viewers, Mind of Mencia represented the peak of the comedian's mainstream influence. Yet even as the show gained popularity, controversy was beginning to emerge. The joke theft controversy, one of the most significant challenges to Mencia's career, involved accusations from fellow comedians who alleged that he had used material originally created by other performers. The allegations generated intense debate throughout the comedy community. Among the most widely publicized moments occurred when comedian Joe Rogan confronted entertainment industry observers will likely watch closely to see how venues, promoters, exchange, and audiences respond and became one of the most discussed incidents in stand-up comedy. The criminal justice process is only beginning. The controversy sparked Mencia's first court appearance will provide an initial opportunity for the charges to be ethical standards within comedy. Following that stage, Mencia consistently prosecutors and defense attorneys are expected to engage in evidence over the exchanges. Years, he participated in interviews and potentially negotiations regarding the accusations. Tax prosecutions during some conversations involve extensive acknowledged that similarities can occur and can become highly spent years performing in financial experts, auditors, and discussing investigative topics may all play significant roles. He rejected allegations that he deliberately appropriated other tax requirements. Despite the allegations spanned the controversy years, damaged his volume of documentation involved could be substantial and contributed to a decline. The defense will have opportunities to challenge the evidence. Although he retained a dedicated audience, the episode alternative public perceptions regarding the filing history became a defining transaction legacy within the comedy world. For now, continuing the charges remain allegations rather than findings of even guilt. After facing professional setbacks, the coming months will determine whether prosecutors can substantiate their claims in court, and whether Mencia touring comedy contest the allegations, negotiate a resolution, and entertainment or pursue another legal strategy. Many
As one of the
comedians
most
who experienced
recognizable
declines in
comedians of his
television
generation,
exposure
the
continue
outcome
to
of the
maintain
case is likely
successful
to
touring
attract
careers,
significant public attention.
and Mencia was no exception.
For Carlos Mencia,
Fans
a
continue
performer
to
whose
attend
career has
performances,
already included
particularly in
remarkable
markets
success,
where he had developed
intense
loyal
controversy,
followings over
and
many
public
years.
scrutiny.
The legal
According to
battle
publicly
ahead may
available
become one of the
schedules,
most
he
consequential
remained
chapters
booked for
of his
upcoming
life,
appearances,
despite the newly announced criminal charges. Whether those performances proceed as planned may depend on future court developments, contractual obligations, and public reaction to the allegations. Entertainment industry observers will likely watch closely to see how venues, promoters, and audiences respond. What happens next? The criminal justice process is only beginning. Mencia's first court appearance will provide an initial opportunity for the charges to be formally addressed. Following that stage, prosecutors and defense attorneys are expected to engage in evidence exchanges, legal motions, and potentially negotiations regarding the case. Tax prosecutions often involve extensive forensic accounting reviews and can become highly technical. Financial experts, auditors, and investigators may all play significant roles in helping jurors understand complex income records and tax requirements. Because the allegations span multiple years, the volume of documentation involved could be substantial. The defense will have opportunities to challenge the evidence, dispute calculations, and present alternative explanations regarding the filing history and financial transactions under examination. For now, the charges remain allegations rather than findings of guilt. The coming months will determine whether prosecutors can substantiate their claims in court and whether Mencia chooses to contest the allegations, negotiate a resolution, or pursue another legal strategy. As one of the most recognizable comedians of his generation, the outcome of the case is likely to attract significant public attention. For Carlos Mencia, a performer whose career has already included remarkable success, intense controversy, and public scrutiny, the legal battle ahead may become one of the most consequential chapters of his life.